Hello, and welcome to SeniorCare's Living Wisely, Aging Well. We discuss topics of interest to people 60 and over and also adults living with disabilities. I'm Tracy Arabian, and today my guests are John and Beverly Flanagan. Beverly is the Healthy Living Program Coordinator at SeniorCare, and John is a volunteer at SeniorCare. Welcome to both of you. Thank you for joining me today.
Well, thank you for having us.
Thank you, Tracy.
So, today we're going to talk about SeniorCare's evidence-based workshops. What the heck is an evidence-based workshop?
Well, evidence-based workshops are specific programs that have been developed frequently by a university or National Council on Aging or something like that for a specific issue over time, and they're still researching them. Hence the evidence base, that they are worthwhile programs that will be of benefit to elders. And we do offer a few at SeniorCare, which we'll get to talking about, I'm sure.
Okay, and what are the benefits of an evidence-based program for an older adult as opposed to just a non-evidence-based workshop?
Yeah, that's a good question. Evidence-based programs work. They've been proven over time that they do have benefits for people if you follow the plan that they've set up.
Okay.
Where they're still researching them, people that participate in the groups now will have some say as to where they begin, where they end, how beneficial or not it was for them, and recommendations for improvement.
Oh, that's cool. So a program, if I took it this year and I took it again next year, it may be changed based on input from people. That's cool. So what evidence-based programs does SeniorCare offer?
We offer two that are very active right now. One is Matter of Balance, which is a falls prevention program. 8 weeks, cover things about attitude, fear of falling, personal safety, household safety, being aware of environment, and it involves exercises. Not aerobics, but exercises that will enhance balance, endurance, flexibility, to give people more confidence when they're out and about.
Okay. So that's Matter of Balance.
That's Matter of Balance. That was developed by the National Council on Aging via the Maine Council on Aging, and that's been around a while. Another one that we offer is Powerful Tools for Caregivers, which is for caregivers who have someone with most any condition. It's very general, and a lot of the focus is on self-care rather than the other individual's care needs, per se.
So it's taking care of the caregiver.
Primarily, and dealing with issues that might come up with the care recipient.
Okay.
And the final one that we offer is called the Savvy Caregiver, which is very specifically geared to caregivers with someone with Alzheimer's or related dementia. And that is 6 weeks. It's very informational. There's a lot of information on Alzheimer's and dementia, the stages, how to deal with the different stages, how to structure a day, dealing with problem behaviors, as well as self-care for the caregiver. It's an intense program, we've done it, I think, 4 times so far.
Yes,
correct,
we have
John?
4 times.
And been very beneficial.
So 6
people.
weeks and all of that, is there homework?
We don't like to call it homework. We like to call it try-at-home assignments.
That
if you're
sounds
able
much
to.
better.
We know that caregivers, their lives are full. They may or may not be able to actually try something. They may have reluctance to try something new, but we will kind of check in at the beginning of the next class and see if anyone did try the thing at home and how it went or how it didn't go, and talk about it. And that's one of the valuable parts if people are willing to try something new at home for themselves or their recipient.
That sounds good. Now, who leads an evidence-based program?
Well, primarily, my wife would lead it. She is in charge of the assistant director, of the Ombudsman program here in Senior Care in Gloucester. But she could lead the program, or somebody who is a certified volunteer could lead the program as well. I only recently certified in May of this year, but if someone that is a staff member that is trained in it from Senior Care, or someone who's a volunteer that is certified in it could lead the program.
Okay.
Yeah, we are all trained and certified by master trainers who did the program themselves for a while and then qualified to teach people how to do it later. It could be staff, it could be volunteers. We have the same certification and training.
Mm-hmm.
We have one that's coming up in September, and John and I will be leading it together.
Yes.
Excellent. So can you tell me kind of what might be typical to an evidence-based program, what a session might look like?
Sure. Because it is evidence-based program, it has a curriculum, an agenda, a plan that we have to stick with. That was what was proven beneficial.
Okay.
It doesn't mean we read a script per se, but we do have a plan to follow. Typically there'll be some paperwork at the beginning, so that people can kind of give an idea as to where they're starting from, what they know, what they maybe don't know, and at the end, what they may have learned and their recommendations for possible improvements. In between, though, the sessions, we follow the plan, which could be reading, discussion, interaction. They're very interactive. We do have some DVDs that we may be showing. A lot of discussion. We frequently have a break for refreshments. We talk about the try at home at the end, and then we come back the next week, and it may be different, but it runs along the same line.
Okay. So you talk about there's a big emphasis on the agenda and the curriculum.
Mm-hmm.
What happens if somebody comes in and they just need to talk?
Mhm.
They've had a bad week, and
Yeah.
they're taking you off the agenda. Is that going to cause a issue?
Not necessarily. We do want to be supportive, so we can listen for a time and then offer to listen more at the break or after the class. In addition to what we offer in terms of the agenda, we give a lot of resources to people.
Oh,
Senior Care offers a ton of services,
yes.
and we do have caregiver support groups that are run through Senior Care and also through Councils on Aging in our area. Will give the most current listing of those. We encourage those for the long haul for a caregiver,
Yes,
because caregivers have a very tough job. They will need support.
yes. So I'm sure that during the course of a workshop or class, there's a lot of personal information that's given. Does that personal information go into the evidence-based research, or how is that personal information used?
I mentioned the paperwork at the beginning and the end. They're called surveys, and those do go towards the researchers, but they're kept anonymous. They don't have names or any identifying information involved. We do collect information for Senior Care that's very basic, like name, address, telephone number, etc. But we follow HIPAA regulations ourselves and do protect privacy.
Okay.
Nothing is going to be shared anyway without someone's consent.
So what happens at the Savvy Caregiver stays
At the Savvy Caregiver. Absolutely.
That may have been used someplace else. So what happens when a group completes their program?
You want to take that one?
Yeah, so what happens when the group completes their program, we issue them a certificate saying they have completed it. We find that when someone has that type of certificate on paper, that helps their self-esteem. Sometimes the caregivers that they're very dedicated, they feel they're not measuring up. And this is kind of a tangible approach to saying that they are measuring up and they're doing a lot right. I'll also try to refer them to any questions or other resources they may need from Senior Care, and some things that are not necessarily related to the savvy caregiver, but we can help them with those. And basically we try to say, keep in touch. If you have a question, you may use Beverly Flanagan's name as a input, if you will. If she doesn't know the answer, she'll refer you to the right person in Senior Care that can answer it.
Nice.
And we celebrate. We
do.
have a bit of a party. We get
Nice.
extra refreshments, and we've been through a journey together. We've taken a lot on. We have a celebration on the last session.
Excellent. That sounds fun. Where are classes held?
We have had classes for all the programs all over the place in our area, within our towns. We cover 9 different towns, I believe.
Yes.
And everywhere from Beverly out to Topsfield, up to Ipswich, to Gloucester and Rockport, tends to be in maybe councils on aging, medical practices may have a conference room, libraries may have a public meeting room that they might not charge for. And we have them at Senior Care in our main conference room. The upcoming Savvy Caregiver is going to be at Senior Care in the conference room.
If an organization, let's say somebody watching this show is a member of a church and they were talking about it with their church group, if they were interested in running a Savvy Caregiver or Matter of Balance or whatever, could they contact you and schedule something?
Absolutely. I would be happy to talk to anyone. We're always looking for other spaces. We want to be able to be in all our towns and all our areas
Excellent.
to offer these programs.
So, you've been mentioning the upcoming Savvy Caregiver. Could we get the details on that?
Sure. That'll be September 6th, Friday, mornings, 9 to 11:30 at Senior Care, which is Blackburn Center in Gloucester, through October 11th, 6 weeks. And please call. I do have some people already registered. People can still register, but we have limited numbers that we can take because of the intensity of the program. But please call if you're interested. I'll be happy to talk with you. And then we're going to be starting a Matter Balance almost right after that. I have dates, but not firm place as yet. That will be starting October 16th, which is a Wednesday afternoon, and going through December 4th, Wednesday afternoon, 1 to 3:30. Call.
Now,
I'd be happy to
the
talk to
dates
anybody.
that Beverly's talking about, they are in 2019. So
Correct.
if you're watching this in January 2020 or something, those dates are no longer valid to you.
But still call, because we might have a new one coming up, and I'd be happy to talk with you.
And if somebody, like, let's say I wanted to do Savvy Caregiver, but I can't do Friday mornings, could I go onto a waiting list?
Yes, I have wait list. Not everybody wants to come to Gloucester. If they live in Beverly, they want to wait till there's one in Beverly. And so we try to have at least 3 of these a year. I can't say that we have firm dates down the road, but probably in February we will have another one starting, and then another one in the spring. So I guess call. I'd be happy to talk with people, get information, and keep a wait list, including your preferred community for it
Excellent.
to be in.
So, I know that you are an employee of Senior Care and obviously a certified trainer. John, you are a volunteer.
Yes.
If somebody's interested in being a volunteer for one of your programs, what do they do? How do they go about it?
I believe that they start by calling our RSVP program.
Okay.
Ruth Lindsay is the director of that program. I don't have her extension right off the top of my head, but
We
if
can
you
get
call
it
the
put on
main
the
number,
screen. We can put-
ask for Ruth Lindsay, she can begin the process for either application, talking about it. If you have a specific interest in the Healthy Aging program, she will usually give me the contact information, and I can talk to the person too, to make sure that they know what it is about and that it might be a good fit. But I think that's where volunteers usually begin at our agency, is through Ruth Lindsay in their RSVP program.
Okay, so let's say I've called RSVP and we've spoken briefly and I am interested. What is the training that's involved for a volunteer?
For a volunteer facilitator of an evidence-based program, they would take the same certification training as anyone. They offer it all over the state, so we need to find or wait for it to be in our part of the state, and each program is a little different. Usually there are 2 full days of training.
Wow.
Some may be 3.
Oh my goodness.
So it is a big commitment. And again, once we're talking and I know that someone is interested, I can keep an eye on the trainings. They're posted by the statewide agency that runs them, so that I can let them know when one is nearby.
Is there an expense to take a training? Is the volunteer?
Not for the volunteer.
Okay.
Mhm.
So the agencies take up the expense?
If there is one.
Yeah.
Sometimes there is, and sometimes there isn't, and sometimes there's conditions, like that you do a workshop afterwards and any cost will be relieved.
So if I
Not for
take
the volunteer to worry about.
yeah, but it's
Correct.
there's a gentleman's agreement.
Yes,
That
exactly.
barring some unknown circumstance, you're not just going to take the training and then move to Hawaii. So
And you do it through the agency. You don't do it like on your own.
yes,
It's the agency ultimately that would have the licensure or the contract for that.
now I know that Senior Care covers the North Shore area, Gloucester, Rockport, up to Beverly, Ipswich, Topsfield, Hamilton, Wenham, and all that area. If I lived in Lynn, but I was interested in doing this, and I happened to be watching this at a friend's house in Gloucester, how could I call Senior Care and be involved, or do I need to call my local ASAP, which seems...
I think feel free to call. If you don't mind traveling, you're certainly welcome to be in one of our groups, but I would give you the number for your ASAP, we call them, which is an elder service agency similar to Senior Care, but that covers a different territory.
Okay.
And they may offer it and be more convenient for you.
Okay, so it would be, one thing we like people to know is that if you ever have questions about any sort of aging, anything, whether it's an evidence-based program or any sort of thing, you can call Senior Care, and if we're not the right agency for your physical
Correct.
location, we will get you to the right place.
Correct. And
So-
just like when we give information about resources to participants, sometimes people don't even know what they need. They can call. They can start with an information and referral specialist who can help them
Yes.
sort out what they might need.
Excellent.
And we have them at Senior Care as well.
Well, thank you both for joining me today. Is
You're
there
very
anything?
welcome.
Is there anything that you'd like that we haven't covered that you'd like to cover?
I just want to emphasize that the programs that we offer are free for participants.
I don't think we've said that yet.
They are, there's no cost attached for the participant. We welcome donations for the materials, but we don't require it. I think that's important to emphasize too.
Yes.
And that, again, the information shared is going to be kept private, and that we love doing the groups. We enjoy doing them, and we invite people to take part.
Excellent. Well, Yes.
I was just going to say that I think that a number of males are caregivers of their spouses with Alzheimer's or dementia, and they're certainly most welcome in the classes. I think that caregivers of their spouses, regardless of gender, are very oriented and very devoted to their spouses. But we would like to see more males in the class giving their perspective. I had been a caregiver for my late wife, and I've since got another good wife. And I would like to see more, because we do give it not for either gender, but we give it for all people that are in that situation.
Yes, and we have had men involved with the programs. And I think for men, being a caregiver can be especially challenging because
It's not in
they
their
haven't done it.
repertoire.
So we hope to offer a balance by being male and female leaders of the group.
But it doesn't have to be a spousal
No.
caregiver.
No.
It could be a child caregiving for their
Correct.
parent, or just a friend, or
Correct.
anybody who's in that caregiving role.
Mhm.
So, well, thank you both so
Well,
much
thank you
for
again
joining
for
us.
having us, Tracy.
Thank you very
It's
much,
been a pleasure.
Tracy.
Thank you for watching SeniorCare's Living Wisely, Aging Well. If you'd like more information about how Senior Care might be able to help you, you can give us a call at 978-281-1750 and ask for our information and referral department. Or online, you can go to our website at www.seniorcareinc.org. Thank you so much. Have a great day.
Thank you.